This is KGW News at 11.
As you're getting ready for bed, Mother Nature is just getting started with a spring storm sweeping in overnight. This is a live view from Portland from our Pioneer Courthouse sky cam. Not too much action out there yet, but that is expected to change soon. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Folkers. Yes, rainy, windy weather is on the way from the coast to the valley. As for the Cascades, well, get ready for some snow. Joe Ranieri joins us for your first look at what's to come. Joe.
Brittany, this is what Timberline Lodge looked like earlier tonight. Some light snow showers. You could actually make out the pavement. You're not going to be able to make out the pavement later on tonight. Winter is not over throughout the Oregon Cascades. Get ready for some intense snowfall over the next 24 to 48 hours. As we look at the weather headlines tonight, heavy snow overnight. I'm forecasting anywhere from 10 to 12 inches of new snow just into the overnight hours. And get this, heading into tomorrow, there could be another foot by the end of the day. And that's just during the daylight hours. So let's look at the snow levels over the next couple of days. It's going to be well below past levels, so be prepared for winter driving. So by the end of tomorrow, there could be anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of new snow, and the snowfall will be falling a good part of the day. As we look at the futurecast, it's going to be absolutely nasty late tonight and into early tomorrow morning, picking up some yellows and some oranges. There could be some thunderstorms mixed in along the Oregon coast and throughout the Coast Range late tonight and into the early morning hours. And we'll get a little break from the rain right around 8 in the morning throughout the morning commute up and down the I-5 corridor, though it's still going to be pretty wet at times. If you're traveling over the mountain passes, you better be prepared for some winter driving, not just tonight, but into tomorrow as well. You can see by 11:30 noon, those snow showers really pile up, and there's lots of watches and warnings because of all the snow and the wind in the forecast. I'll talk more about that coming up at 11 o'clock.
All right, Joe, thank you. And now to our top story tonight. A back and forth between the city and advocates for the houseless plays out in the Pearl. This makeshift campsite in North Portland is still standing tonight, even after police earlier today told the advocates who put it up to take it down. As you just saw, the site looks calm tonight, but the spot was busy just a few hours ago. Crystal Kumwe tells us what happens next is unclear.
Good, how are you?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Wooden pellets on hand, dozens of volunteers showed up in the Pearl District Sunday morning ready to work.
I help support folks on the street in whatever way I can. All the people who are here do the same thing.
Mimi German spearheaded this effort to build 3 housing structures for the houseless at the intersection of Northwest Davis and Park.
At every turn, there's a sweep.
The move, she says, is in response to the city's sweeps of homeless camps. The plan is to erect these tents right here in the park to house people like this woman who didn't want to appear on camera but says her camp was recently cleared.
Like really early, like 7:45, it was 8 o'clock when I woke up to them taking my tent down with me in their sleep.
The group faced pushback Sunday. Portland Police and Portland Parks and Rec wanted to see a permit. Instead, they were handed a piece of legislation.
House Bill 4001 that allows nonprofits and religious organizations during an emergency housing crisis to provide shelter in the city.
But city workers were not familiar with the bill, and here's why. According to the Oregon Legislature website, HB 4001 was recommended to pass in 2020, but the session ended before it was finalized. People in the neighborhood had mixed feelings about the project.
18 years ago, we'd walk through this park
With our grandchildren.
At night, and we think, can you believe how cool this is?
Phil and Debbie Esther say the neighborhood has deteriorated over the years with crime, drug usage, and mental health concerns with the homeless population. The couple is all for the group providing services and support at the park.
But not to live here.
Neighbor Dave Taylor agrees.
It's terrible down here. Just all the drugs and, people being homeless and needing help.
But welcomes the tents here to help the homeless.
That's awesome. It's great.
After the 3 main tents were up, volunteers pitched dozens of smaller ones around the park, ignoring calls from police to stop the work.
We'll just keep erecting these all around. Every time there's a sweep, we'll put more up because the city needs to stop doing sweeps.
Crystal Kumwe, KGW News.
And we do want to point out something important here when it comes to that bill advocates showed police today instead of a permit. As we mentioned, records show that bill was never signed into law. But even if it was, it would not have allowed just anyone to deploy makeshift shelters like these ones. Qualifying entities would have been able to develop or operate what were called low barrier emergency shelters. But again, that bill was not signed into law. Well, now let's talk about how Portland clears those camps. Portland's mayor had previously extended the city's emergency declaration for 2 more weeks. That would allow crews to clear certain camps faster. Mayor Wheeler's office says 50 sites have been cleared since early February. They're along roads controlled by ODOT, and the agency admits in some places campers are already back. It's not clear how many more times this emergency declaration can be renewed. A romance and suspense novelist from Beaverton accused of killing her husband will be on trial starting tomorrow. That case started in 2018 and has captured the intrigue of many around the country. Our Galen Etlin is looking ahead at the trial. And Galen, no surprise, this has gotten national attention because it sounds like something right out of a movie.
Or out of one of those books that you mentioned, right? Yeah, so we're talking about the case of 71-year-old Nancy Crampton Brophy, who has been locked up for a few years now. She was denied bail when she requested house arrest over health concerns in prison during COVID, but now her wait is almost over.
On Monday, Nancy Crampton Brophy will enter a court like this one, on trial accused of murdering her husband, Daniel Brophy. In June 2018, students at the former Oregon Culinary Institute found the popular instructor shot, and he soon died.
He made such an impact, obviously, on so many people.
Nancy was at Daniel's memorial that June as police looked for the killer. Then, months later, they arrested her in September. Grieving friends and students were divided.
I was completely shocked and disgusted. Especially somebody that's been with him for as long as she had been with him could just do something so cold-hearted.
I can't imagine. I just don't think she's capable.
Police knew when Daniel entered the Culinary Institute. Nancy told them she was home at the time, but court documents say this surveillance showed her car driving through the area.
I don't know what could be more pivotal, Your Honor, than her being at the exact time and place that a murder is occurring when no one else is there, and then she lies about it.
Nancy surrendered a gun to police that matched the murder weapon, but police said at first it appeared to be unused. Later, they said eBay records showed she bought a new slide and barrel. Her defense pointed out police never found duplicate parts.
Possible that it was involved in the murder, but it's also possible that it wasn't. It's possible.
The more sensational part of this case comes from Nancy's past work, writing romance novels.
She authored a whole series, including The Wrong Hero, The Wrong Lover, and The Wrong Husband. The question is Crampton Brophy the right suspect in this real-life murder?
Her neighbor wasn't so sure.
But you never know. Could go one way, could go the other.
Nancy also penned a blog titled How to Murder Your Husband in 2011. Friends say writing that blog as a fiction writer does not prove she's the killer.
She's just not that type of person. She wasn't some conniving, don't care, don't give a darn type person. This is a woman who truly loved her husband.
Audio of Nancy speaking to investigators shows some of that emotion.
I don't care about who shot him. I just want him back. I don't want him dead.
But prosecutors maintain Nancy stood to gain $1.5 million in life insurance and other funds from her husband's death. From the neighbor who said it could go either way.
I'm not ready to convict her, and I don't think it's right to do that.
Again, that trial starts tomorrow and is expected to last 4 weeks. We'll, of course, be bringing you updates here and on KGW.com.